Oh, okay, Be'ezrat Hashem. So now, B'Sha'at Tov, we're actually starting the Pirush HaRamban after we have read the Hakdama and the Hakdama to the Hakdama. So the pasuk says, "Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz."
Yeah.
Bereshit, at the beginning, Kadosh Baruch Hu created heaven and earth. So the Ramban right away, as he has explained to us in the beginning of the Hakdama of the Hakdama, right, that he gives Zchut Kedima to Rashi. So he's going to first address what Rashi says. So Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says, Lo haya tzarich להתחיל התורה אלא מהחודש הזה לכם. The Torah should have started with the first mitzvah. The Torah is about mitzvot. It's not about stories. So if it's about mitzvot, go straight to the mitzvot. What is this entire introduction? Shem mitzvah rishona shenitztavu Israel, right? That's the first mitzvah that Bnei Israel were commanded, the first commandment. Umat am patach bebereshit. And what's the reason the Torah started bebereshit? Mishum shekoach ma'asav yigid le'amo, right? Because of koach ma'asav, the power of his action, he revealed to his people. She'im yomru umot ha'olam, and let's look at this. If the nations of the world will say, listim atem, you guys are bandits, robbers. Shekevashtem lachem arzot shiv'a goim, right? You went and stole the land of the 7 people. Hem omrim lahem. So we will answer, Kol haaretz shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu hi. The entire world is Hashem's. Unetana la'asher yashar be'enav, and he gives it to the one that is worthy. Ubirtzono netana lahem, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to them. Ubirtzono netana mehem. Hashem took it away from the 7 nations. Unetana lanu, and he gave it to us. V'zo agada bal-lashon shekitva Rashi beperusha, and that's an agada, that's Ma'amar Chazal that Rashi brought to us. So that's Rashi. That's Rashi. Now the Ramban will address Rashi. By the way, the Rashi brings this midrash. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. The Mefarshim says that in order to accomplish the mitzvah of Kibud Avaim, Rashi wanted to start the Torah with a hidush of his father. So Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki. Rashi is Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki.
Okay.
Right? Rabbi Yitzchak is the father of Rabbi Shlomo. So in honor of his father, he brought a kushia and a hidush from his father.
Okay.
Although some say that we found actually that midrash in other places, and the Zohar Kadosh, etc. And we have a question to ask on this hidush of Rashi. What does it mean? Why do you start the Torah with Bereshit? You should start with the mitzvah. For sure, there's a reason. There's an obvious reason why you should start with Bereshit. I don't understand the question. It's the foundation, the roots of belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because maybe you may think that there's theories of evolution and of Big Bang, and the world just happened just like this. Right? You're really rejecting the fundamentals of Emunah, of the Torah, the Enlo Torah Klal. And if you don't believe in that, then you don't believe in the whole Torah.
What year was this written? Ramban.
The Ramban itself, 900 years ago, 850 years ago.
Okay.
Right? So says the Ramban, because there are theories that maybe the world is Kadmon, the world always existed.
So and that's what I'm trying to understand.
He didn't say evolution.
No. But
the Kadmon, right?
Yes.
The Kadmon evolution.
Yeah, but that's what it means today.
But I'm asking, because the Rosh, I'm asking when was this written? Kadmon meaning that it was...
It's been old forever.
Right. So my question is, at that time, when this was written. That was the
You had philosophers that believed that there's no God, right? That it was just it just happened. Now,
but in his era, how did people think the world was created?
You had people believing like this. You have people believing. I don't know how they. I don't know.
How do you not know? You know.
I'm late. I came late.
This is an important question.
But it doesn't matter. There's definitely the Rambam already addresses it. The Rambam says that you're at this point already. You have people that believe that the world was just happened. So that was here forever. Some believe that there was a God that put it in place and got discouraged and put it in the trash box. They had a lot of different. So he's saying that if you don't have knowledge on how the world was created, then you can easily believe that the world was not created by God, and then it's a fundamental flaw in the emunah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and of the Torah. And what does they have? How are the mitzvot going to help you if you don't believe that God created the world, right? So it's true that you would have received the mitzvot and you would have known what to do, but if you don't know for who you're doing it, then you're out of it. There's your mitzvot are completely meaningless. Good. Okay. So that's the question the Ramban asks on Rashi, right? That's the question. The tshuva. So what's the answer? Now he has to give a tshuva to an answer to his kushya on Rashi. Maasei Bereshit sod amok. The reality is that the creation is a very, very complicated subject and has in it an infinite amount of layers of secrets and knowledge in it. It's not something you can just understand from the what's written in the Torah. And you'll never master everything about it. The only way you can break the codes and know the secrets of the Torah, of the Maasei Bereshit, is only if you received it from your Rav and your Rav from his Rav all the way to Moshe Rabbeinu, and even Moshe received it from who? From HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if it wasn't for HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Pirush, right? Pirush Rashi on the Torah, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give a Pirush Rashi, his explanation to Moshe Rabbeinu, like Rashi to the Torah, right? To Moshe Rabbeinu, we would have never been able to understand.
What did he give? He gave the explanation of what?
He gave everything that we have access to in the Sodot of Maasei Bereshit. We received it from Moshe Rabbeinu. This is not something you can just come and read and understand, right? So all the Torah shebe'al peh, like the Ramban explained in the Hagdama, all the secrets of the Torah and of the Torah shebe'al peh that are not written, right, were given to Moshe, right? And Moshe then passed it on to Yoshua and to the Zekenim, etc., etc. Right? And the ones that actually know the secrets, they cannot reveal it. So the Ramban makes first a anachat yesod. He makes anachat yesod is not an assumption. It's not an assumption, but there is a klal. He puts a rule. He lays a foundation. That the Maasei Bereshit is inaccessible for your regular man, and even if you have some knowledge, you only received it from your Rav and Torah shebe'al peh, and it's a lot of secrets, and it's never written, right? And it's very complicated to even grasp what is behind it. And even the ones that know it are not allowed to share it publicly.
Why?
Because it's secrets. You only share secrets with the one that can understand and appreciate and pass it on. How can I take the risk to teach you something that you will distort. So the Rav needs to make sure that the student is capable of understanding properly and pass on the information. That's the Yerusha that we have of the Torah, that Moshe Kibbel Torah. The whole Torah is about that. So, and it's so sensitive, it's so complicated, and it's so intricate that you cannot just pass it on and speak about it in public. And the Chokhmah is based on Tzniut. You cannot just go and brag, oh, I know Maasei Bereshit. So for that reason, you don't have access to it. And even if you have access to it, you cannot really share it, right? So because of that, says the Rambam, Lekach, for that reason, Rabbi Yitzchak, so if anyways you don't have access to it, and it's not so easy, and even if you were taught, you cannot share it, so what's the point of bringing it? Yeah, it's true, it's about the emunah, but if you cannot learn it, then why start with it? I'll bring it later or something. But
why did Rashi come up with such a simplistic explanation of what his father said, and the Ramban comes up with a totally different item?
The whole thing is his father. Meaning the Kush. What do you say again?
Did Rashi? This is all Ramban.
This is right now from the Tshuva is the Ramban. Yes.
Right.
So the Ramban explains what was the Havamina, the thought process in the Kushia of Rav Yitzchak.
How come Rashi doesn't?
Rashi is a Pashtan. Rashi does not bring. You're going to see in across the board. Rashi is known. He says, "I'm here to bring you the pshat." Right? Rashi wrote many pirushim on the Torah again and again and again and again and again to consolidate as much as he can his pirush, so that there is not one letter extra. So Rashi is not rich in words. He was giving you exactly what you need to know.
When did he live?
1,200 years ago.
And all these perushim were written with
Ruach HaKodesh, Nevuah, for sure. For sure. We said the Ari HaKadosh says that the Ramban, Pirush Ramban, was written with Ruach HaKodesh. It's again very, very few really appreciate the Chokhmah of the Ramban. That's how deep it is. The Ari HaKadosh, the Arizal says that. So he says, "Lekach amar Rabbi Yitzchak she'en להתחיל בתורה בצורר ובראשית רבה." אין צורך, they don't really reason. והסיפור במה שנברא ביום ראשון ומה נעשה ביום שני ושאר הימים, and the story, right? The actual, pay attention to the word that he used. And now he doesn't say, and the Maasei, he says, the סיפור, right? Meaning he simplifies Maasei Bereshit, והאריכות ביצירת אדם וחווה, right? And what happened with Adam and Chava, and there's Vechatam ve'onsham, there's sin, punishment, Sipur Gan Eden, the whole story about Gan Eden, Gerishat Adam Mimenu, how HaKadosh Baruch Hu will exile Adam and Chava from the Gan Eden, V'chol Sheken Sipur HaMabul ve'Palaga, even more so, the whole Sipur of the Mabul, and the Dor HaPalaga that wanted to build, the tower and go against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, She'en HaTzorech B'hem Gadol.
So, you missed something.
What does that mean?
גירוש אדם ממנו,
כי כל זה לא יובן בינה שלמה מן הכתובים.
What does that mean?
There's nothing really, there's no בינה, there's nothing that you think out. No, the בינה זה להבין דבר מתוך דבר. There's no really anything that you're extracting that is so essential and so important beyond לכאורה, beyond the story.
Right, that's what he said.
שאין צורך בהם גדול. There's no real reason behind it.
Okay.
So what was that? What do you do with all this? Okay, but at the end, ויספיק לאנשי תורה בלעדי הכתובים האלה. חכמים, they don't really need it. ויאמינו בכלל בנזכר להם בעשרת הדיברות, כי ששת ימים עשה השם את השמיים ואת הארץ, right? There are references to Maasei Bereshit. Right? For example, in Aseret HaDibrot, when the Torah commands about doing Shabbat, he says, "Ki sheshet yamim asa Hashem et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash." Ken vayanach bayom hashvi'i. So, that from there, you know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. V'tishaer ha'yedi'ah, but the real understanding, the real knowledge, will stay ליחידים, to the יחידי סגולה, to the chosen ones, שבהם הלכה למשה מסיני, that through them, the Torah that was explained and transmitted to Moshe from HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a verbal way will be passed on. And they are the links that will continue to pass it on. עם תורה שבעל פה, וסוג לתורה שבעל פה.
It's a very good question, because not only does it not help you, if you don't know the secrets, it doesn't help you. It actually causes harm if you don't understand what you're reading and you read it the wrong way, which many people have for a very, very long time. The beginning of Bereshit is the source of many people
confusion
believing that they say, well, this conflicts with science.
You're right, and he's gonna address it. The Ramban will speak. The Ramban will speak about it shortly. You're gonna see. So now the Ramban, prepares the teshuvah. And what does he say? So what's the teshuvah according to the Ramban? That what? That lemaaseh, it's very amok, right? And we shouldn't have it, right? And if you want to have it, so have it in different ways. But why start the Torah, right? So because of that, Rabbi Yitzchak asked this question: why should we start the Torah with Bereshit? Now we understand the question of Rashi, of Rabbi Yitzchak. It's not just a simple question. There's thought process behind it, right? Okay. ונתן רבי יצחק טעם לזה. כי התחילה התורה בבראשית ברא אלוקים. Now he's going to explain the answer of Rabbi Yitzchak. כי התחילה התורה בבראשית ברא אלוקים. The Torah started with בראשית ברא אלוקים. וסיפור כל עניין היצירה עד בריאת האדם, right? The whole creation until the creation of man. ושהמשילו במעשה ידיו וכל שעת תחת רגליו. בגן עדן שהוא מבחר המקומות הנבראים, and he explained everything that he's done, all his, the פרטי פרטים of his actions. He would talk about the גן עדן. בעולם הזה נעשה מכון לשבטו. That was the place of his existence. That's where he lived. בעולם הזה, אדם הראשון. עד שגירש אותו חטאו משם. And what got him out of Gan Eden? His sin. ואנשי דור המבול בחטאם גורשו מן העולם כולו. Right? So he's created now, the Ramban is saying that there's a common denominator between the stories that we've seen. Adam sins, he's thrown out of the land of Gan Eden. Dor HaMabul sins, thrown out of the planet. They all die. והצדיקים לבדו נמלט, הוא ובניו. Who is left? The tzaddik and his kids. Right? נוח. וזרעם, חטאם, גרם להם להפיצם במקומות ולזרותם בארצות. And then their descendants, right? דור הפלגה, what happens? They started doing balagan. I said, oh, it's like this. You make a problem? What is the punishment of the problem? Girush, exile, right? Exile of Gan Eden, exile of the planet, exile of the land. Why doesn't exile them from the planet? Because he promised after the Mabul that he's not doing it again, right? So now he's stuck. So he cannot kill them. So what does he do? He exiles them. So the punishment of doing a head, of going against Hashem's will, is exile.
You lose your land.
Use your land.
That's why the Israelis demolished the homes in
Right.
the Palestinians.
ותפסו להם המקומות למשפחותם בגוייהם כפי שנזדמן להם, and then they all went and to each their own, and they started their own family and their own tribes. אם כן ראוי הוא, if that's the case, right? And we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a formula set since Adam HaRishon. כאשר יוסיף הגוי לחטוי, שיובן ממקומו. If a nation sins, God punishes the nation by sending them to exile, right? Throwing them out of their land. ויביא גוי אחר לרשת ארצו, and he brings another people instead. כי כן הוא משפט האלוהים בארץ מעולם. This is part of the rules of HaKadosh Baruch Hu since the creation of the world. So there is nothing, there's no hidushim.
There's a question. Go back 1 second. אדם הראשון. Do you ask the question with יצר או no?
מה זה קשור עכשיו יצר?
יש לי שאלה.
No. Wait. No, I don't want to do. I don't. We're Maasei Bereshit. No, actually, אי אפשר ככה. לא יודע.
Maasei Bereshit.
וכל שכן, we didn't start the word Bereshit yet. We didn't start the word Bereshit. He didn't start. He just going back to give fundamentals. Okay, so that's one. וכל שכן, אם המסופר בכתוב, כי כנען מקולל ונמכר לעבד עולם, ואיננו ראוי שירש מבחר מקומות היישוב. אבל ירשו עבדי השם זרע אוהבו. Especially, right, Canaan, that is essentially a descendant of Ham, who will be cursed. He's cursed. Ham is cursed, right? They come and they sit in the land. So already it's a cursed people, right? And they're in the land, and they do averot. So Kal v'chomer that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take them out. First of all, because they're sinning, but even more so because they're cursed and they're supposed. And what is the curse? They should be what? Eved, right? They should be servants. So here you're supposed to be a servant, and a servant doesn't own a land, right? So the fact that you're already on a land, say thank you. Now on top of that, you're sinning. So there's double reason to throw you out, right? That you're sinning, and that that you're Eved, you're servant.
What's the relevancy to this whole thing?
To get to explain that now we have an answer to all the Umot HaOlam that want to come and say, when you went to Israel with an army, you slaughtered everybody, you took our land, right? You have to give it back. It's not your land. So the answer is Hashem took it away from those Reshaim, took it away from these people that were sinning, that weren't even worthy to own the land, and gave it to us. Who told us this is the land, this is where you're going to go. And you know what? Not only you're not just a nation, you're my nation. I'm Segula. אבל ירשו עבדי השם זרע אוהבו, כעניין שכתוב, ויתן להם ארצות גויים. Right? He gave them the land of the goyim, and the effort of the nations they inherit it. בעבור ישמרו חוקיו ותורותיו. And all this, and that's very important and apropos. The only reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the land, בעבור שישמרו חוקיו ותורותיו. כלומר, שגירש משם מורדיו. Hashem rejected, threw out of there the one that rebelled against him. V'ishkin bo ovdav, and he brought the one that served him. Sheyid'u ki ba'avodato inhaluha. That the only reason they earn it and they have it and they pass it on generation to generation is because they're serving the HaKadosh Baruch Hu and accomplishing the Torah. However, if Bnei Israel will sin, miyat taki otam haaretz. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will reject them. Meaning the Ramban says there is a rule, and the rule this rule applies for everybody. The rule applies for everybody. If we sin, we're going to be thrown out. Guess what? We were thrown out. We were zoche to come back, but we were thrown out. So this is a rule that HaKadosh Baruch Hu installed in nature, that there is an interaction between the behavior and space, and there has to be harmony. And if there is no harmony, the makom, there is a distortion between the action and space, and the space will make it, or if we're a little bit more mystical of Kabbalah, that the malach of the land, right? Or the malach of the people will make sure to eject it and throw them out.
The whole Torah is about going to Israel.
So what?
This is consistent with that.
No,
Oh yes, no.
But there's a timing issue. I'm confused.
What timing?
What are you talking about?
He's gonna go to the question of the Yetzer Hara.
No, I'm going to get this on there, but not on this one. When did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us? He gave it to who?
What?
When was the first time HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm giving this land? Avram?
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes,
Yeah, is
yes,
that?
yes.
So if I am if I'm Avi or something like that, I could say,
He
wait,
told Abraham, this land will be to your descendants.
Yeah, that's Abraham.
I understand.
Okay.
But let me ask you a
Promised
question.
Abraham.
But there's-
Exactly.
But there's many
Great.
generations before Abraham.
Nachon.
How is it going? I'm not going to say, wait, but we had the land before
Correct.
Hashem gave it to Abraham.
Correct.
Okay.
But he said, no, but he addressed it. He said he gave it to you. You sinned. Hashem took it back and gave it to us.
Okay. So when you say sin, he's talking about the
The
non-Jews.
He's talking, no, in the beginning. In the beginning, he's talking about Canaan.
Okay.
He talked about the Shivat Amim. He says there's two reasons why HaKadosh Baruch Hu took it away from them. First of all, because they were sinning, and that's a rule of thumb. And number two, because they're avadim, they're servants, and a servant does not have ownership over land. And who did he give it to? He gave it to us. For what reason? To serve him. Very good. But the rule of thumb still exists with us. That if Chaz v'Shalom we don't follow the law, the Torah, the land will also vomit us. Will also throw us out. We're not above the law. That's basically what the Ramban is saying. Am Yisrael is not above the law. We were chosen. The Torah was given to us. And by the way, that's one of the. When I have a conversation with somebody that has a hard time believing, yes, I believe everybody believes, but the person has a hard time believing, yeah. And but what do you mean? They're very Zionist, right? It's our land, but they don't talk to me about the Torah. Don't talk. I said, yeah, Habibi, if there's no Torah, you don't have a say on the land. You don't deserve the land. The only reason, right, you can hold on to this land is because of this book. So if you don't believe in it, get out.
Well, they'll tell you that the UN gave you the land.
So the same way the UN gave it to the land, again, told you that you have to give a portion back to the Palestinians.
And those people
So that-
to probably believe they.
So but 1 second. So if that's the case, it doesn't matter if it's Eretz Israel or if it's Zaire or Uganda,
Yeah,
right?
that's-
That was the thing.
Well, we got lucky. We went there.
Okay. Be'ezrat Hashem. So but
Yeah, okay. So on that point, so
it becomes political. Then
right.
that's all.
So but if the land throws you out when you sin, and when does it bring you back? When you do teshuvah?
Not when it brings you back. You are worthy to go back
What-
if your actions are aligned.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
All the
What were the actions that were aligned in 1948 that we got we had?
I'm not here to answer Hakadosh Baruch Hu's reason.
No, no, no.
But it could very well.
Sure,
I tell you the korbanot of the Holocaust. The teshuvah that happened during the Holocaust is a teshuvah that brings back Eretz Israel to Am Yisrael lenetzach, not for 80 years, 100 years, 200 years. The level and amount and quality of teshuvah that happened there for seconds before they were killed, or they were scared to be killed, or they saw family being killed. That's enough. That's enough to purify 2,000 years of exile. That's the proof. It happened. Okay. And right after that, Hashem decides that to use this, what is called the UN. By the way, the UN is created because of the wars, right? Of the World War. That's why it's created. So it doesn't happen again. Right? So, and suddenly they decide to give us Israel. For what reason? For what reason they give us Israel? We've never been, right, politically speaking, a people that had land. If you don't believe in the Torah. Herzl didn't believe. He didn't. He was an atheist. Or at least he pretended that he wanted to separate. He wanted to separate. Not so that we don't go through the whole system again, the whole problem again. So if you come from a political angle, what does it matter if I give you, like you say, Uganda, DRC, Zimbabwe, I could give you anything. Why do you want this specific land?
Oh, it should be something with more oil.
Or more oil?
Good.
But no, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it that we went back to where? To our forefathers' land.
What year was Abraham born?
We did 1948. We did
Isn't that amazing?
yeah.
You know that?
Nachon.
No.
Of the
Abraham was
creation.
born in 1948.
Create of the creation.
Creation, yeah.
And that's when we
1948 is when we got.
Nachon.
Yeah.
That's the
Amazing.
Geulah. That's the Geulah. To answer your question, to answer your question, that's enough teshuvah for Mashiach to come. So if you ask me where's Mashiach, okay, the Rav Kook, Tzaddik Kadosh Livracha, tells you that the first Gilui of Mashiach is Eretz Israel. The first revelation of Mashiach is the fact that Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us by the line. That's the first step, and one of the steps of the Geulah of Mashiach will be that's going to be big. We're all going to go back to Eretz Israel. So he was mefarish this. He says that it cannot be that after so much suffering we don't trigger Mashiach. So according to the Rav Kook, that has started already.
Well, Trump got it like the Mashiach is in.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm not, maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but this is not, it doesn't sound like it's saying that the Jewish people have an inherent connection to the land of Israel that lasts forever. It's saying we're just like everybody else.
Correct. That's what I said. We're not above the law. That's exactly.
So. But there's also, it's like a circular reason, like you go back to Rashi's question of like, the people will say that we stole the land. Okay, but like according to this explanation, whoever ends up with it is sort of destined to, and it's the right.
No, but you're missing one.
Us out of the land, and it's because we deserved it, and we have no claim to go back in.
Nachon. Yes. Nachon. First of all, the answer is you're right. You're right. We're not above the law. We're not above the law. And we can be expelled. And we have been expelled. We have been expelled. However, Vayiten lahem artzot goyim va'amal leumim yirashu. It's a Yerusha. There is two levels.
Sorry.
In the pasuk of Tehillim that we read earlier. Vayiten lahem artzot goyim. He gave them the land of the goyim. Va'amal leumim, and the efforts of the nations yirashu. They inherit. A Yerusha is something you pass on. So there is a dimension. There is a Bchina of Yerusha in Eretz Israel.
So even if we get kicked out,
we have an inheritance, but we're not above the law that if we don't behave, we're thrown out. Just like a father can throw out his son.
Yeah. But
at the end, it's still his son. Exactly. Correct.
Inheritance to Abraham.
Sorry, to the Zera Avraham. To the Zera Avraham. Yes. ואשר יבאר הפירוש שכתבתי, לשונם בבראשית רבה שאמרו שם כלשון הזה. So he's going to explain what he said based on the Midrash. שאמרו שם כלשון הזה. רבי יהושע דסיכנין בשם רבי לוי פתח, כן, רבי יהושע דסיכנין in the name of רבי לוי said, כוח מעשיו יגיד להם ולתת להם נחלת גויים, and he brings the pasuk that we just said, מה טעם גילה הקדוש ברוך הוא לישראל, מה שנברא ביום ראשון ומה שנברא ביום שני. Why did הקדוש ברוך הוא reveal the secrets to the Bnei Israel, the secrets of Maasei Bereshit? Bnei Umot HaOlam. Right? Now he's bringing the Midrash. That's the Midrash. שלא יהיו מונים את ישראל ואומרים להם, they should come and tell בני ישראל, הלו אומה של פזיזות אתם. You come and you steal. וישראל משיבים להם, בני ישראל will answer, ואתם הלו פזיזה היא בידכם. You stole it also. הלו הכפתורים היוצאים מכפתור, because it started with the כפתורים, השמידום, וישבו תחתם, and they went and they took it. העולם ומלואו של הקדוש ברוך הוא. What do you mean? If you're going to start going back and back, everybody stole something from someone. So at the end, who does it belong to? It belongs to הקדוש ברוך הוא. כשעשה נתנו לכם, when he wanted, he gave it to you. כשעשה נתנו מכם, הוא נתנו לנו. And when he wanted, he took it back and gave it to us. הדאוד יכתיב. And when he gave it to us, that's what the pasuk meant. כוח מעשיו יגיד לעמו לתת להם נחלת גויים. בשביל לתת להם נחלת גויים, יגיד להם מעשה בראשית. Just so that he can give us נחלת גויים. The נחלה also is a Yerusha, right? Of the גויים, יגיד להם מעשה בראשית. He revealed to the Bnei Israel the מעשה בראשית. So all this creation, all these parashiyot, at the end, Hashem wrote them for one benefit, so that we can go back through the emunah that we have and through the knowledge that we have to prove that we didn't go and get it. Hashem told us to go and take it. He gave it to us. Right? So it's not just us that when we didn't go in a conquest or in a crusade to go and take something that's not ours, that we believe we want to conquer, like every other king or every other emperor. We went because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to go.
But you're assuming that you repeat these 7 umot that you're talking to, Zayin umot, believe in that, right? Because at the end of the day, they can believe we came here.
If you don't believe, there's nothing to talk about.
So you have to assume that they believe in it.
But they did believe. They did believe at the time. They did believe that the Torah until today. Everybody believes. I mean, everybody. The people believe in Torah Shebichtav, right? The Arabs believe. The Christians believe. They all believe in the.
But Hashem created the whole world, right?
Nachon.
So why are we limited to only one spot? Why can't we be colonialists?
Well,
That's a very good question, because we are a small. That's a good. It's not relevant to here. There's a few reasons. Reason number one, because we're small. We're the smallest nation, right? And we'll always stay the smallest nation. Like Allah tells us, right? Maybe you'll shine like the stars. Maybe you'll feel to the world like the dust of the land, but you will never.
What did he say that?
I'm gonna read at the end of the parashot of Devarim, and you'll see Azinu, Parashat Azinu. Read Parashat Azinu.
Before that, does he say Avraham
Nachon.
It's not living.
But the lav davka in quantity. Arbe can be, it's felt. By the way, go to ask Goyim how many Jews there are. They're going to tell you that there's 2 billion.
Where?
Ask any Goy, how many Jews are there? They're going to tell you we're billions of people. They're not going to believe we're 12 million. But we.
Make a lot of noise.
Yeah. So that's one answer. The second answer is because it's the Har HaBayit, there is on it Even Shtia, Mimena Ishiteta Haaretz. HaKadosh Baruch Hu consolidated the planet from that point, that place. So from there, like we saw from Shlomo HaMelech, right? So from there, you have control over the entire planet. From the bracha comes exactly, the bracha to the land comes from there. So from the Har HaBayit, where the Bet HaMikdash was. So for that specific reason, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Mekor. Take the Yesod. What's the point of getting a second version? You want to be at the root of the beracha.
Okay.
וכבר בא להם במקום אחר עוד, העניין שהזכרתי בתעלומת מעשה בראשית. Right, there's another source, there are other sources about how complicated the knowledge, the learning of מעשה בראשית. אמרו חז"ל, להגיד כוח מעשה בראשית זה בשר ודם אי אפשר. To teach to men, right, and that is made of flesh and blood, the secrets of creation, impossible. לפיכך סתם לך כתוב בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ. Hashem stopped with the pasuk Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim. Im ken yitbaer ma she'amarnu. Just with that, all the secrets are in that pasuk. If you can understand, you can understand. You cannot understand, you can understand.
In Bereshit,
okay.
All the secrets of what?
Of the creation. And now
in those words.
In those words.
Okay, let's hit it.
Now we start. Bereshit bara Elokim.
Yeah. You guys ready?
There's another introduction.
There's another
introduction. There's another. He's addressing another Rashi. כתב רש"י, אין המקרא הזה אומר אלא דרשני. This pasuk is not written properly. Why not? כמו שדרשוהו ברבותינו, before this. Now you have Israelis here, okay? When you use the word Reshit, Bereshit, זה מילה סמוכה, נכון? Meaning it's an introduction to something else. You cannot say Bereshit, Reshit what? The beginning of what? Beginning of something. So every time you use the word beginning, it's connected to something else. What is it connected to here? Nothing.
nothing.
נכון? So there's a big problem in the formula of the pasuk. And if you look at the te'amim, look at the ta'am. It says Bereshit, bara Elokim. You see?
Okay, I know, I don't,
That-
I don't really tell me, but okay.
Yeah,
It should say, normally, how do you read it? Bereshit bara Elokim. At the beginning, Hashem created. But if you look at the te'amim, it said, at the beginning, God created.
so it should say God created in the beginning.
That's right. Or Barishona, right? But the fact that the ta'am, you see this ta'am? It's like it's stopping. Bereshit bara Elokim.
Okay,
Meaning, like you normally, the way you read it, God created Bereshit.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
God created bara Elokim Bereshit. That's what it means. Bereshit bara Elokim. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create?
imagine there's
Bereshit.
imagine there's a comma
That's the
into
creation.
Bereshit.
Yeah, I understand.
That's the comma,
That's the ta'am right here.
right? So it's the way you read it. God. What did God create? The Bereshit. What's the Bereshit? I don't know.
Ta'amim are also from Hashem.
Yes, Vadai.
You read that last
So-
week.
Yeah, okay.
You forgot.
I have to confirm.
So
Does it more seem like it? I understand what you're saying, but, and he's gonna explain this. Is it like you're picking it up in the middle of the sentence, or is it more that you're saying what he created was the beginning?
what do you mean?
Meaning,
No, the word Reshit.
Right.
Beginning has to be connected to something, and it's connected to nothing. It's connected to nothing. So why did the Torah use the word Bereshit?
It seems like it's saying that Hashem created the beginning.
Created. What does that mean? Created the beginning. How do you create the beginning?
If we understood that, we wouldn't be here.
Right. So Rashi says, "En hamikra ze omer ela darsheni." So when you read the first word, the first three words, you cannot understand the pshat of the pasuk. So what do you need to do? You need to go to the drash. Pardes, pshat, remez, drash, sod. Right? There's no remez here. You have to jump to the drash. So the Chachamim broke their head to try to understand why didn't he say Barishona? You want to say something, Barishona, use a word that is not samuch, that doesn't need to be connected to something else, that's dependent on another word. Good?
Good.
So if he said Bereshit and he didn't say Barishona at the beginning, at first, you could say, at first, God created Shamayim Ba'aret, and that would have been perfect, Barishona. But when you say at the beginning, he created, okay, but the beginning of what?
Beginning of the world.
No, so say at the beginning of the world, say at the beginning of
It
creation.
doesn't say that.
Bereshit Abri'ah bara HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So definitely there's a problem. There's a problem here. So Chazal come and they break their head to understand. Okay, so what's the secret? So he says, he brings, כמו שדרשוהו רבותינו חכמים, they bring דרשות, בשביל התורה שנקראת ראשית, דרכו. בראשית, בשביל, the ב means בשביל, for. For what? For, so for the Reshit, that's how the Chachamim read. For what is called Reshit, for the purpose of Reshit, God created.
Right, it's bishvil Reshit.
That's right. Bishvil is for.
Right.
For the purpose of, for them. For Reshit, God created.
What's the Reshit?
Opa. So he says, Bishvil HaTorah שנקראת Reshit. The Torah is called Reshit. Like the Pasuk said, Reshit Darko. But we have more than that. Israel also is called Reshit. שנקראו Reshit Tevuato. The Am Israel is called Reshit Tevuato. So now we have for the Torah that is called Reshit, and for Am Israel. So why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world? He created the world for the Torah, and he created the world for Am Israel.
That's why it's Bereshit to Reshit. The bet is the two. Right?
Yeah, yes, that's one of the reasons. That means, but he doesn't address that now. Just so you understand, the Gaon Mivilna says that in the Kutso Shela bet, the bet, you see, has a little spitz, right? And
You can't see it here, but in a.
In a regular
The
bed,
dot?
not the
No,
dot.
in the Spitz.
With the sheets.
The little ink that going up at the end of
Yeah,
the
on the bed.
on
Yeah,
the
I see
bed,
it.
on the bed. Just there, says the Gaon, the entire secret of Maasei Bereshit are written.
That's
It-
an
it-
item also?
Yes, that's an item. And he says,
Wow.
if you look at the bed, right, the base of the bed, right, it's like a chav that sticks out. But where is it sticking out? It's sticking out in the counter direction of the Torah, right?
To the back.
To the back,
Yeah,
to the back. This is
something was before this.
Baby, bravo.
Ah.
That's all the creations before Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world. Right there in that little coach. And why is it in the foundation? Well, anyways, there's a lot of yesodot behind it.
Right, explain. You can't start in like.
That's all the creations, and all the dorot before are right there. And they're in the
What the what?
all the creations of Hakadosh Baruch Hu before he created the world, they're all
What
hinted. Chazal say they
Explain it. You think that's.
Hashem said, "I created the world, and he created the world and destroyed them. Created the world and destroyed them." We don't have knowledge of what he created and what he destroyed, but he was creating world and destroying them. Okay, and that how did Chachamim learn that? Because the Torah used the bet and made sure that the foundation of the bet is sticking towards a makom that has no history. It's something that we don't have access to.
Okay, Sablanut, we're not all smart as you. We
It
got
doesn't-
kicked out of high school and
No, yalla, bechavod.
when I went to
For
school,
you,
I don't know what
you have a lawyer, you have lawyers, and you have.
So before Hakadosh Baruch Hu created, what was there?
I don't know. I know that there
What-
was.
and how was it?
the end sof.
The whole thing is
What do you mean? Was it?
no, but what was there before?
End sof. Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hu ushmo bilvad. Him. Only Hakadosh Baruch Hu. What does that mean? We don't understand. The Ramban made an introduction and said that there's a shar, the Yediat Hashem, the knowledge of Hakadosh Baruch Hu you cannot tap into. So there was Hakadosh Baruch Hu. We call it Ein Sof, infinite. What does that mean?
There's
Infinite.
no explanations that were written. Nobody tried to
No.
to
No.
dig into that subject.
No, because it's a door that nobody can tap into. So we have access to what the Torah taught us, and the Torah taught us that there's a bet, and the Torah could have started with an aleph, but the Torah started with a bet. And the way you write the bet, you have to make sure that the foundation, the base of the bet, sticks out. To tell you that this is not the first time and probably not the last time, and this is just a continuation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's creations. Okay. So now we have two entities or two things that are called Reshit. We have the Torah that is called Reshit, and we have Am Yisrael that is called Reshit. והמדרש הזה לרבותינו סתום וחתום מאוד. חכמים, they didn't explain so much about this midrash. כי דברים רבים מצאו שנקראו ראשית. Says, I don't understand. In the Torah, there's a lot of things that are called Reshit. Why did they go and pick only that? ובכולם להם מדרשים, and they all have a midrash, they don't have חידושים. וקטני האמנה יספרו בהם לרובם, and a lot of קטני האמנה, the people that lack emunah, he says that don't have a lot of chokhmah. The people that don't have a lot of chokhmah will diminish and laugh or make a joke out of these midrashim. They're gonna say, Chacham didn't have what to say, so they picked two nice things. They picked Torah is great, it's cool, it's relevant. Am Yisrael is relevant, so let's use these two. And that's what we picked out of all the Reshit. So the Ramban has a very big problem with that. So he's going to address that, and he's going to touch like this to the secret of that midrash on the word Bereshit. So now you have the word Bereshit, right? You have the problem of the word Bereshit, which we've addressed. Chachamim will tell us Bishvil Israel, Bishvil Torah, Bishvil Israel, and the Ramban says just so that you understand how accurate Divrei Chachamim is, I'm going to reveal a little bit of the secrets of what the Chachamim say about Bereshit.
But isn't the two? Is the fact that they picked the two? Is that because of its Bet Rashit, or that's not nothing to do with that?
I told you the Rambam does not address your bet.
But no, I'm not
Why
discussing the Ramban. Does Chazal, so the Chamim.
Not on this,
Was
not
that-
on this, not on this one, not here.
So where does that come from? The Bet Rashit.
There's no Zohar Kadosh. The Zohar Kadosh says Bereshit. Again, there is reference to what you're saying, but it has nothing to do with what the Ramban is addressing right
So why did it only pick two?
now. Wait, that's the question. That's exactly the question.
That's what the idiot is asking.
In the footnotes to Uktanei Amana Yesifu Lahem Lerubah.
Yeah,
It says that this is an allusion to Ibn Ezra, who cites that Midrashim.
I don't know. That's what I don't know.
But the question is, if that's true, does that mean that he's saying that the Ibn Ezra had little faith?
Where
I don't know. I don't have. The Ramban didn't put footnotes,
Okay.
but it could be no.
Where are you reading?
No,
Number 15, the bottom.
Number 15. This is an apparent allusion to Ibn Ezra. The side these Midrash in there.
Okay.
Yeah. it's
B'zchut
right.
shlosha devarim.
That's what it says. That they, like, the Ibn
that's
Ezra-
that's what the footnote says. I don't know. That's not what the Ramban says. I didn't see this written in the Ramban, because at the end it's not consistent with what the at the
Tough questions.
at the end. Aval, look at the end of this portion before the Bereshit again. Aval izkarti ze, you see,
Page 21.
at the end of this keta, he says, Aval izkarti ze livlom pi ketane amana me'ute chokhmah. People that don't have a lot of chokhmah. That's not how he speaks about the Ibn Ezra.
Yeah, that's what
That's a stira. That's not consistent with the Ramban. Yeah, but
that's what I'm asking. Yeah, there's been- yeah.
you have to be very careful with it. That's why you have to be careful with translations. You have to be careful with the way they, the footnotes. Okay,
That's true.
then I'm not saying nothing.
No, it may be that they're saying that the Ibn Ezra was talking about people with little faith.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. בזכות שלושה דברים נברא העולם. אמרו, another midrash. אמרו, in Bereshit Rabbah. Okay? Another midrash. That's another midrash. בזכות שלושה דברים נברא העולם. The world was created for the merit of three things. חלה, הפרשת חלה. בזכות מעשרות, to take away the 10%.
I'll say.
ובזכות ביקורים, ביקורים are the fruits, the 7 fruits of that Eretz Yisrael was blessed with. We used to bring the first fruits to Yerushalayim, right? And it was a big event. So בזכות those 3 mitzvot, right? The world was created. Bereshit bara Elokim. And now look, now different pirushim of Reshit. Bereshit bara Elokim, Bereshit HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, and Reshit ela chala. The chala is called Reshit, שנאמר Reshit arisotchem chala, right? ואין ראשית אלא מעשרות, and the מעשרות are called Reshit. Why? ראשית דגניך. Another pasuk. ואין ראשית אלא ביקורים, שנאמר ראשית ביקורי אדמתך. So we find again that Chachamim in the drasha of Bereshit address Reshit now to a third thing, right? To 3 different things, which are all 3 related to the land. The Hala comes from the land, Bikurim from the land, and the Maasrot from the land. ואין ראשית אלא ביקורים שנאמר ראשית ביקורי אדמתך. ועוד אמרו, and they added a 4th reason, בזכות משה, שנאמר וירא ראשית לו. Moshe is also, וירא ראשית לו, Hashem showed him the ראשית. וירא ראשית לו, right? Which is the Torah. This is the Torah הקדושה. וכוונתם זו, now he's going to explain. Now we're going back. So we have 2 midrashim. One midrash that says that the Torah is called Reshit, and Am Yisrael is called Reshit. We have another midrash that says Reshit is Chala, Bikurim, Maasrot, and Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe. Now he's going to explain. שמילת בראשית תרמוז כי ב10 ספירות. Okay. Now you have to, okay, focus.
1 second, where were we up to?
Oh yeah.
Page 21.
This is mine.
You don't listen?
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל יהיה בדברו.
Amen.
You don't listen? Yes, no? Yes.
If you want me to speak, yes. A little bit. וכוונתם זו שמילת בראשית תרמוז the remez of the word בראשית כי ב10 ספירות נברא העולם.
Celebration today.
Because it said celebration. I'll have it.
Oh, you want some?
So now he's referring to the Truma, to the Maaser. Okay, he's taking the portion of the he's taking the portion of the second midrash that said that Reshit is called that the Maaser is called Reshit. And what does he say? Maaser is what? Is 1 of 10.
Maasei.
Can I ask you a question? Oh, sorry. The English stops over here. And then there's this whole paragraph that starts.
That's Al Pi Kabbalah. He doesn't.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
He does what?
You know,
So you gotta
he
pay
doesn't.
attention to
Yes,
this.
anything that is a little bit more sod, he doesn't. They don't translate.
Are you gonna translate?
Yes, I'm going to tell you what I've learned, what I was taught. So Kavanatam. Now he's referring to Maaser. Maaser comes from the word me'eser. There's the word eser,
From 10.
from 10. And what is called Maaser? What is the name of Maaser? Bereshit.
What?
Bereshit. Reshit is Maaser, we said, right? The Maaser is called Reshit.
That's one of the midrashes.
Nachon. So then that means that Bereshit, it means Be-Eser,
In 10.
in the 10, or Bishvil the 10. Okay? Yes?
Okay.
So he says that when the Chachamim talk to you about the Maaser, they don't really tell you that the Maaser is called Reshit. They're telling you that the Eser are Reshit. What are the Eser? The 10 Sfirot. Now, 1 second.
What are you saying here? The Esther Sfirot Ba'alam.
That's
Esther Sfirot or through the Esther?
that's the same thing. Bishvil זה לא משנה. They were created. With them and through them, the world is created. And why is it? It's Be and Bishvil, because at the end of the day, you need to serve the 10 Sefirot, okay, to be able to bring to do Retzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because that's all we have. How do you serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Through the Sefirot.
What is Sfirot again?
The 10 constellation, Keter, Chochma, Bina, you know that
That
art,
list you sent.
that list that I sent, right? Now, but it doesn't stop there. Now, Maaser is Me-Eser. It's 1 of the 10. What is the 1 of 10? What is the 1 of the 10? Meaning the number 1 of the 10 is the Chochma. It's the Chochma. Why is it the Chochma? Because 10, how do you write 10 in, what is the gematria of 10 in what's the letter that refers to no, yes.
Oh, you.
The Yud, right? And the Yud is referring to what in the Sfirot, in the Yud Ke Vav Ke? What does it represent?
That's a chokhmah.
That's Chochma. Yud represents Chochma.
Yud is also what he created everything from.
From exactly. So he says. So when the Chachamim tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, Bereshit, right? For bizchut, by the merit of, or for the merit of the Maaser, it's referring to the Sfirot, to the 10 Sfirot. But which 10 Sfirah, which is the 1 of the 10, right? Maaser is 1 out of 10, is the Sfirat HaChochma. Meaning it started with the mitzvah, the Sfirat HaChochma, and he explained the Ramaz, la Sfira Anikret Chochma. So when he says Maaser, he's really referring to the Sfira of the Chochma in the 10 Sfirot, Sheba Yesod HaKol, because that's where everything starts, that's the foundation of all. like you said, right? From the Chokhmah, from the Yud, everything expanded. Ka'inyan shene'emar, like the pasuk says in Mishle, Hashem bechokhmah yasad aretz. Hashem with the chokhmah founded the world. So the Reshit, the beginning, which is referring to the Maaser, which is Maaser from the 10, the one out of the 10, which is the one of the 10, which is the Chokhmah. With that, he founded the earth. That's Bereshit bara. Vehi ateruma, vehi kodesh. We know that the teruma is holy, and the teruma en la shiur. You can bring one gargir. The teruma of maaser. The teruma is terumat maaser. You start the maaser with the teruma. How do you start the teruma of the maaser? Meaning, how do you start the 10? The gargir of chita. A gargir of chita reminds you to what? What does a grain of wheat represent in the letters? No, a yud. It's a nothing. It's a nothing. It's a point.
A yud is a smaller one.
It's a yud, right? So the teruma, which doesn't need any shiur, you don't need to bring anything specific. You bring gargir, you bring a little grain of wheat. That grain that is referred to when you talk about the trumat maaser is the yud, which is the chokhmah, which is the beginning of the foundation in the word Reshit. This is what Chachamim meant when they said, B'zchut maaser, anikred Reshit, bara HaKadosh Baruch Hu. By the merit of the maaser, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is called Reshit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. וכאשר ימנה אדם 10 מידות, ויפריש אחת מ10, רמז 10 סירות, right? And when you do your mafrish, you take away 1/10, it's referring 1/10 of what? 1/10 of the ספירות. יתבוננו החכמים בעשירית וידברו בה. The חכמים, המתבונן, right? They think and they focus on it, וידברו, and they will talk about it. And what are they talking about? They're talking about the חוכמה. What are they מתבונן? Now that's referring, that's the secret, or touching the secret, or what Chachamim meant when they said that the Maaser is called Reshit. The Hala, now the Hala is also called Reshit. Mitzvah Yechida Ba'isa Tirmos Baze.
What does that mean? Mitzvah Yechida?
So that's already,
alone?
no, the Hala is a mitzvah that's the only mitzvah that you have in the Isa. How do you do the challah? You take a piece of dough from the dough.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Isa mean?
Isa is the dough.
So, it says a mixture.
It's mafresh challah. That's the mitzvah.
That's right. So, well, so let me explain what that means. That's already pure sod. So he says, the chokhmah is called Abba. And then it's an introduction for the next thing. So the chokhmah is called Abba, and the chokhmah gives birth to what is called the malchut. That's called the bat, Abba, the daughter, the father and the daughter. Chokhmah is the father, the malchut that receives and is born from the ishtalshelut, the flow down of the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, okay, gives birth to what is called the malchut. So, at the end, when you take the challah, what are you taking? You're taking something from something that is the same. For example, if you take wheat, you have 1 grain of wheat and you have another grain of wheat. You didn't take 1 grain from 1 grain. Bring olives, 1 olive from another olive. That's the maaser. That's the teruma. The isa, you take the one thing from its own thing, right? So you give birth, you create kedusha from something that is already existent, right? So what the Rambam says that the achala mitzvah yechida ba'isa, it's the yechida, right? It's the special from the isa. It's the birth of the Malchut from the Isa, from the Chokhmah.
No. It's the birth
It's the birth of the Malchut
from the Chokhmah?
from the Chokhmah. It's the birth of the daughter from the father. Why? Why? Because the Chokhmah in the constellations gave birth to what is called the Malchut. Why does it give birth directly to the Malchut? Because look at it like this: the Chokhmah is a potential. That the potential has to come to reality. But in order for the potential to get to reality, you need a vessel to hold that reality. You cannot just create something if there's no an ecosystem, if there's no place to receive it.
So the Malchut was the vessel.
So the Malchut is the vessel. So the
That's the
Chokhmah,
Chala.
that's the Chala.
Okay.
That's the Chala. So the Chokhmah that is called Reshit, and that's the Chokhmah that's called Reshit, that's the Maaser, comes to tell us that the Chala is also called Reshit. The Chala, which is the Malchut, is also called Reshit. Why is it called Reshit? Because it comes to birth from what? From the Chokhmah. And it's an extension of the Chokhmah.
I gave two
Bravo. That's the Zohar says. That's what Reshit Illa'ah ve Reshit Tatta'ah. You have a Reshit that is above, and you have a Reshit that is in the bottom. It's two different like it's two different levels. You have one ecosystem that's called the Chokhmah, the Mohin, where you have the Reshit of the Mohin, which is the Chokhmah, and then you have the other Reshit, which is that's in the Eretz, which is the consolidation, the crystallization of the potential. That's a different arena. There also you need a Reshit, and that Reshit is called the Malchut. So comes Chazal, and these are concepts in the Kabbalah. Okay, it's not. I'm just trying to give you the basics so that you can grasp what the Ramban is saying. What the Ramban is saying in these words, he's saying that when Chachamim used Maaser and they used the Chala, they were referring to the two Reshuyot, to the not Chaz v'Chalila two Reshuyot, to the two concepts of Reshit. There is one spiritual. There is one Reshit in the head. Let's separate like this. You have the Torah has two dimensions to it. You have the dimension of the learning, which is the head, and the dimension of the practice, which is the body. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the body is one entity of its own, right? And the Chokhmah is another entity, right? And they coexist together.
Okay.
Yes?
But the same body.
Yeah, but it's not your body that thinks. It's your neshama that thinks.
Okay.
Correct?
It's your brain that thinks, but
The membrane, it's your membrane. That's what thinks.
your brain.
The blood and the membrane that thinks, that's not what thinks. You eat it.
It's the neshama that comes into
It's the
your body.
neshama that's in it, right? But that's what it is. If not, where is the
The
neshama?
animals.
Exactly. So we have if you want the reshit of the limud of the chokhmah, of the intellect is called the chokhmah, and that's the limud Torah, the study of the Torah, and the reshit of the mitzvot, of the actions of the Torah, is called the malchut. This is why the malchut is what you actually affect, okay, with your actions. This is what we pray for on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We just, I don't know if you listen to the shiurim on Rosh Hashanah that I have, and the preparation of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. What is all the avodah of the Chagim is on Rosh Hashanah we are judged on the what we have done to the Malchut that's related to us, which are through our actions. And then Hashem, and then for the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, we elevate the Malchut all the way to the 10th day, which is the 10th level, which is the Keter. Now, the bat, right, goes inside the crown, above the father, right, goes to the crown, and only the king can pardon. That's Yom Kippur, right? And then after that, the Malchut starts going back down. And every day of Sukkot, right, she comes down and she brings the bracha that she received from the king, right, and she gives it to the Chesed, and she gives back to Chesed, life to Chesed, gives back life and beracha to Gevurah, etc., all the way until Hoshana Rabbah,
And
which is
but-
considered also Yom Adin, because the Malchut goes back to her own level. Right? So to go back to what I was saying about the Chala, right? That the Chala is an extension of the dough, right? And it's born from the dough. So it's meaning it's another dough, right? So if the dough is called Reshit, now you have two Reshit. One that gives birth and one that becomes the vessel to receive. One that is practical and the one that is intellectual, if you will.
So you're saying the dough is both Chokhmah and Malchut?
Correct. The dough is Chokhmah. The Chala of the dough is Malchut.
Got it.
So for this reason, says the Ramban, for this reason, Chachamim shows as Reshit Chala in this Midrash.
So as the Malchut is coming down during those days after, that's why the Ushpizim are.
Exactly.
That's why it's Chesed first.
Biduk, exactly.
So what did they belittle these Midrashim? They said those of little faith believed in these things.
No, it was the Ramban.
Yeah.
No, that's what he says. He says, because if you read it and you don't know what it means, Chala, and you don't know what it means, right?
They were belittling the people who didn't understand them. Okay.
וישראל שנקראו ראשית, now Israel is called ראשית, היא כנסת ישראל. Israel is called כנסת ישראל, right? כנסת ישראל. המשולה בשיר השירים לכלה. She's called in שיר השירים לכלה, שקראה הכתוב בת ואחות ואם. Right? Sometimes in שיר השירים it's called בת, אחות, אם, and these are three different layers. וכבר בא להם זה במדרש, בעתה שהתירה לו אימו, right? So the highest level of Knesset Israel is the M. First is the Bat, after that it's the Achot, and after that it's the M. ובמקומות רבים, and in many different places you see that Knesset Israel will have different terminologies. וכן וירא ראשית, okay. So here again, he said Knesset Israel. Okay, you see that it has also different level, high and low, right? M and Bat. M, the Ima, is another concept in the Sod, but maybe it's better that I don't want to burden. Okay, it's so the Ramban basically wants to say that even when we say Bishvil Israel, that is called Reshit, we don't just they don't just pick Am Israel just like that.
That's why they pick it. So,
Because the Malchut is called Kala.
okay. So what does that have to do with this?
Knesset Israel is called Kala. You understand? So there is different.
Yeah, I'm
It's referring to the Malchut here. He says Ameshula veIsrael שנקראו ראשית. When we talk about the Reshit, told you. When we talk about when Chachamim use Israel as Reshit, he says because Am Israel, Knesset Israel, it's called the Kala, and Kala is the Malchut.
okay. I lost
So
you.
so
I-
no.
I think
So for that reason,
Why did he go back to Israel?
no, that's another midrash. That's one of the midrashim says
I get it, but there was three things that he was getting into.
he's gonna get to. He's gonna get. No,
Talk about Chalais, Chala.
he spoke about Chala, about Maaser. He didn't speak about Bikurim.
Right.
Okay, but right now he's talking. Nachon. Right now he's talking. Nachon, you're right. Right now he's talking.
Confused. Okay, Israel Rashid, he Knesset Israel.
Yes,
What does that mean?
because the Kala, Am Israel is called Kala. Kala is the Malchut. Okay, so when he says Bereshit, Bishvil Israel shenikra Reshit, it's referring to the birth of the Malchut, like he explained in the Chala.
Time out. Sablamut.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna ask you to explain this to me. So can you explain to me? Explain. give me the shorthand version of what we
What do you
just.
want to know?
Hakol kavana achat. Everything is one kavana. He wants to say
I'm trying to see, go back and give us the big picture.
the big picture is the
Give us the
following:
narrative of the
the
big
midrash, when the chachamim shows comparison, like or explanation to the word reshit, what they really meant. They meant to talk about the birth of the Sfirot and how the Chokhmah gave birth to the Malchut. Okay, because it was, and it's very important, it's fundamental to understand that, because if you don't understand it, you're not going to understand what the Ramban wants to say in his real pshat. That we know is the potential, right? There was a potential that will come to reality. So the Chokhmah is the potential. So Bereshit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the potential and the vessel to receive the realization of that potential. So the potential is that's Bet Reshit. That's Bet Reshit.
But that's tends to be.
That's Bet Reshit.
Okay.
The two Reshit that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. That you're referring
So
to.
that's the
It's the Chokhmah and the Malchut. And so he says that you're going to find in Maaser, right, that is referring to the Chokhmah, right? But and as a klal of the 10, okay? You're going to find the same thing in the Chala that refers to the Chokhmah and the Malchut. Knesset Israel, Am Israel, also it's called the Kala, which is the Malchut. And he says, finally, Moshe Rabbeinu is the same thing. Why? Because Moshe is the Torah, and the Torah is Chokhmah, and also is the same thing, right? So meaning, when Chachamim shows those examples, when Chachamim shows those examples, they were hiding to us a secret of creation. That when it says Bereshit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the 10 Sfirot, starting with the Chokhmah, and that led to the Malchut, which is the vessel that will allow the potential that is in the Chokhmah to come to reality.
Why did he have to go through this whole like
because these are secrets.
To get it straight, why can't he just tell us that
How can he say it? How can he say it? Based on what will he say it? If he would have told you right now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Chokhmah and created Malchut, based on what? You have to give it. You cannot throw things from the air.
Yeah, but there's two different. Sorry, but the first version.
It's your fault.
Okay, the first version. What were the first two words in the first drasha? The first drash. What was
Israel and the Torah.
Okay, and then the second one you have the three other words. So how do those two connect together?
It's all one. That's what he wants to say. It's all one. Everyone found another relation to the Malchut and the Chokhmah in the word Reshit. So the first midrash referred to
the same conclusion.
the same thing. That's all davar echad. Exactly.
That's how different ideas come together, even though conflicting.
Exactly. So let's וכן בירא ראשית לו דמשה. Hashem, right? וירא ראשית לו דמשה, הסברו כי משה רבנו, נסתכל באספקלריה מהירה, הקדוש ברוך הוא, משה רבנו saw, received the Torah with full clarity, without any veil, any separation. וראה ראשית לו, ולכן זכה לתורה. Right? What did he saw? What did ראה ראשית לו? He saw the Chokhmah, the Mekor of the Chokhmah, and that's how he was zoche to all the Torah. Because he connected to the Mekor of all the Torah, which is the Chokhmah. Right? So this is why Bishvil Moshe, because what does Moshe represent? Moshe represents the Torah, but how did he get the Torah? He connected to the Chokhmah. So when we say Reshit, and when we mean Moshe, we really mean what? The Chokhmah. ואי אפשר להעריך בפירוש זה העניין במכתב. I cannot keep on writing or explaining. והרמז רב הנזק, and here going back to what you're saying, the fact that I allude to it is already problematic. כי יסברו בו סברות, אין בהם אמת. People are going to come to conclusions that are maybe not true. אבל הזכרתי זה, the only reason I addressed it just by ברמיזה. הזכרתי זה לבלום פיק את עני האמנה, just to shut people's mouths that are ignorant, מעוטי חוכמה, that have a little bit of חוכמה, המלעיגים על דברי רבותינו that are making fun of דברי חכמים.
So the Rambam is the
Ramban.
He's really the keeper of all these secrets.
One of them.
And he's giving us just a little?
That's
No, but he passed it to his Talmidim.
Yeah, but that's how we have it today. How do we know today what he means? Because it was passed on.
שאלה.
If you ask questions, I'm getting nervous. You never talk.
This חוכמה is the same type of חוכמה שלמה המלך על ראש
Yes.
praying for?
Yes,
Great
yes,
question.
yes. But it's when we talk about the chokhmah here, we talk about the makor of it, the birth of it. When we talk about the chokhmah, we talk about the thought HaKadosh Baruch Hu had in Korach to create everything.
So basically, you know whatever Hashem knows.
No, you don't know what Hashem knows.
That's the chokhmah.
You know what Hashem decided to reveal for the creation.
Ever since you told us the Shalom HaMelech and the chokhmah, every day I always pray for wisdom
Me too.
and I
Me
no,
too, every day.
I do it beforehand, but now it's a deeper meaning.
A
want
pure
that
chokhmah, a pure
Right.
chokhmah,
Pure, yeah, the
not a
pure-
contaminated
pure-
chokhmah.
That's heavy duty stuff.
So just the creation, how do you create Chokhmah? What does that really mean to create Chokhmah?
No, it's Hashem's will. Hashem's will to a creation, right? So his will was a blueprint.
It's what?
A blueprint.
Yeah.
That was his will. That's Chokhmah. That's the potential. How HaKadosh Baruch Hu,
No, Chokhmah is what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu's will?
it's yes, in putting together, right?
I don't understand. In relation to create, what is you talking about the fact that
The potential, the blueprint of how everything is going to look.
that is what Chokhmah is?
That's where, yes, that's the Chokhmah. Chokhmah, it's knowledge, information. It's a bank of information, right? So all the information about creation and how HaKadosh Baruch Hu will create and what he will create and what will be the outcome of the creation, it's on the Chokhmah, right?
Okay.
And then the Binah comes to break it down and reorganize the blueprint, step by step. Plans, yeah, you have the blueprint, and then you go, yeah, you have pipe, I don't know, like plans for the marble, plans for the floor, plans for the construction, plans for the metal, plans for the iron, plans for the, yeah.
So why did he have to create all these things as opposed to just giving it to Tachlis the plans on what to do? Why is there all these 10 different spiritual?
So that you can understand him. Because if he would have done it without it, how can you actually, you with the brain that you have, the way he wanted to create you, he created us, right? Understand all this. Yeah, but that could have made us that we understand everything. He could have. So he decided that it's a different way. As again, you're going back to Yediat Hashem. That's our way, because we cannot understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? So he laid the ground for us to be able to relate to different level and different behaviors so that we can tap into who HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to know, who he is. And we didn't touch Bereshit yet.
I understand.
We haven't started.
This is complex stuff.
This is just
Very, very,
40 days that Moshe goes up to learn the Torah. He essentially, to make it very simple, just so he plugs it into the
download.
Chokhmah, that's a download 40 days.
That's right. That's right. V'aspaklaria me'ira, without any barrier. Panim el panim. With Chokhmah, not with HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, you
But
understand?
then he's addressing another guy, but I think we're going to stop.
I think we have to stop here.
Yes. Tov b'sha'a tova. So now all this is introductions because the Ramban,
Page 21.
because the Ramban wants to give kavod to Rashi and cannot start the period. Now that he's addressed Rashi and Rashi's kushiyot and the pirush of Rashi and etc. Now he's going to bring the pshat of Rashi on Bereshit, and then he's going to explain his own pshat. But that's for next year.
What time tomorrow?
I can't. No, but I can do same time. Same time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Be'ava.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Who's that?
Andy Meta from Argentina.
Oh.